Shit. I'm over here dropping shit. Get live, Bootsy. Bootsy, get live. All the way live, Bootsy. Talking with a blunt in my mouth. Get live, Bootsy. Bootsy, get live. Where my lighter at? Let me get my lighter that we can get started up in this bitch. How y'all doing in here? Rob McCoy, Trey Day. What up, y'all? What up, Negroes? I'm over here trying to drink. I'm over here thinking I'm gonna drink some water, but I got a goddamn blunt in my mouth. What's up, activist Iron Will? What up, Smoke Splitter? Skew Raider. What up, bro? Oh shit, somebody dropped some shit in that street. Yeah. Yeah, if you didn't watch it, he didn't miss anything. But I still encourage you to watch Chris Rock's special yourself if you want to draw your own conclusion. I don't like drawing conclusions for other people, but I do, however, draw my own conclusion, and I stand staunch in my conclusions that I draw for myself. And only thing I don't like is when somebody else be like, well, you didn't have to watch. Well, you don't have to listen then, bitch. It's for anybody that's going around talking about something. Well, why did you watch? Because I felt like watching. It's my time, and I use it the way I want to use it. What's up, Quan? What's up, Todd Campbell? So let me start off by saying this. Technically, it wasn't a bad special. Chris Rock, he executed his game plan for the first, 90% of the show, and then the last 10% he fumbled it off. So from a comedic technical aspect, I'm gonna give it a C. It was some funny parts. Doing an hour as a comic is not easy, It's not. So I have respect for that, All right. Now my blood lit, we can go. So that's one end of the spectrum. On one end of the spectrum, follow me. On one aspect of it, I can see why some people would say it's funny, because Chris Rock did execute his setup punch. He executed his stories, he executed his setups, and he executed his punchlines. So if you're in the crowd that thinks the punchlines are funny, I'm not going to argue with you. Comedy's subjective. So if you think Chris Rock's punchlines and setups were funny, I ain't gonna argue with you. People in the crowd laughed. I'm sure I laughed at a few things. So I'm gonna start off by saying that. Okay, Dwan, so if you're saying all of that, hey, Butter Love, calm down. Butter Love in the chat she jumping straight to the goddamn point. Look. I'm balanced. Y'all know me, I'm very balanced. Even when I have a strong opinion towards something, I'm a Gemini. I can see both sides of things. Todd Campbell said, trash, brother. Hey, y'all. Hey, niggas. Let me get to the point. Y'all. Look, chill, y'all. Hey, chat room, chill. You niggas y'all stupid. Y'all stupid, chat room, chill. I'll get to the point, then we gonna get around to it. So So he executed his setup and punch. So I'll give him credit for that. Pulling off an hour is not easy to do, and he did it live. Most stand-up, well, basically all stand-up specials that you see on TV, they were recorded twice, sometimes 3 times, sometimes 4 times in the same outfit. And what happens is, but it's usually twice. And what happens is they edit and cut out the best of the 2 specials and combine it into one. And what you get is your normal HBO, Showtime, Netflix special is actually 2 different stand-up sets mashed up and edited down into one. That's what happens most of the time. So I'm going to give Chris Rock credit for that. He did it live. He didn't have it edited down. He didn't film 2 specials or 3 specials and have it edited down into one. He didn't do that. He filmed it all in one take. I give him credit for that. Okay? I give him credit for that. You know, stand-up specials are generally edited. They edit out the dry spots and put in, and then they usually fill in laugh tracks too. A lot of specials have laugh tracks filled in. So he didn't have a laugh track. He didn't have an edit. So I'll give Chris Rock credit for that. Yeah, see how nice I am. I saw it's gonna be some dickhead at the end. The comments later was like, "You're just hating." So for anybody that has that in the back of their mind, I'm gonna tell you from the bottom of my heart, kiss my entire ass. We're talking point of view here, and I'm offering my point of view from what I saw. And if you feel differently, that's fine. Just don't tell me, because I don't care. So that's what happened. So now let's get into the special itself. Okay. So Chris Rock, this is my overall take of the special, the overall message. Everything has a message. Netflix offered Chris Rock this special because Chris Rock has had a career doing one thing well. And then that one thing is shitting on black society and saying the things that white society wants to say about black people but can't say about black people. Chris Rock, for the last 20 years, has been their go-to boy when it comes to that. Now, well, at last 25 years. Honestly, longer than that. Almost 20, really, damn near 30 years since CB4, shit. Chris Rock is their boy. He says the things about black people that they can't say. Because Chris Rock comes off in that pseudo-militant point of view. Somebody said, hey, Booker T, what do all comedians do? What's that? Booker T in the chat room, what do all comedians do? Make it plain, brother. Make it be clear. So what Chris Rock does is he shits on black society. That's what he does. That's his niche. And it started with the black people versus niggas joke. That was the joke that he did. What was that, 1996 when he had that special? 95, 96? 96? When he had that special, when he talked about the black people, oh, I love black people, but I hate niggas. That was a dog whistle to white society. And this is coming from someone who, let me tell you something, my point of view on Chris Rock. I, at one point in my life, was a very big Chris Rock fan. Yeah, bring the pain. That was it. Thanks, Mark. I was at one point in my life a Chris Rock fan. And I still appreciate Chris Rock because Chris Rock has left a mark on the world of stand-up comedy that can never be erased. Here come the police. Here come the police. That's the sheriff. The sheriff don't even patrol this area. What the fuck are they doing? The niggas are going into Hawthorne to fuck with somebody. Anyway, yeah, I was a huge Chris Rock fan, but I started to identify his bullshit in the early 2000s. I think it was his second or third HBO special. I don't remember. And Chris Rock, I started like, okay, this dude has a lot of smoke for black society, but when it comes to white society, he generally paints around the edges. He generally, like, for instance, in tonight's special, this is what Chris Rock does. He did a lot of equivocation in tonight's special. What is equivocation? Equivocation is when you equate two things that are not equal and you make them seem equal. That's actually a fallacy. His jokes are based in, see, the best jokes, the reason why Richard Pryor was so great was because Richard Pryor, even Dave Chappelle, Corey Holcomb, these people are great. Their greatness is their jokes, no matter how that much they may make you cringe, they're still based in reality. Chris Rock bases his jokes in stereotypes and fallacy. Let me say it again. He bases his jokes in stereotype and fallacy. So tonight's broadcast show, whatever the fuck you want to call it, me talking tonight, my rant tonight, is speaking from the point of view of the overall message of the special. Let me say that one more time. My point of view tonight as we talk is speaking on my point of view of the overall message of the special. Is that clear? Is that clear? So, Chris Rock, let's go through some of his jokes that he did tonight. He starts the night off talking about, Chris Rock starts the night talking about how he's not going to be offensive to anyone. He opens the night saying he's going to do his best to not offend anyone. And if anyone includes everyone except for black people, he accomplished his goal. All right, man, have a good one. If not offending anyone means not offending anyone that doesn't consider themselves black, goal accomplished. Because he spent the whole special shitting on black society. And what makes that a really big slap in the face is you literally start the show talking about how you don't want to offend anyone. And then you go into offending black people and black people only. Every joke black people lost. What's up, Ebony? Here's how you offend black people. You offend black people when every time you equate black people to white people, black people lose. Let me give you an example. There was a bit to where he talked about Meghan Markle. He's talking about racism. And he talked about Meghan Markle marrying into the royal family. And when he goes into the bit, he talks about, it's actually, the start of the bit is pretty funny. He talks about how, you know, the royal family is old school racist, and they basically wrote the book on racism, and that's, for the most part, true. He starts the bit off like that. And then he goes into complaining, saying Meghan Markle shouldn't complain because they're old school racists. Okay, that was a funny bit. True. But the bit goes left when he says that's not real racism. What's really racism, basically, is a white person trying to fit into a black family. Black people. First off, our reservations towards white people coming in our family are greatly founded with evidence. But even with that being said, we are the most welcoming people. Black folks will talk a lot of shit about white folks, but if a white person comes into the family, black families, and I know because I've seen it time and time again, will accept that white person. We gonna crack jokes the same way we gonna crack jokes if you brought home a woman that was 600 pounds. Well, we still gonna love them. He basically equivocated the royal family's racism to how black people treat white people in the family, new white people in the family. Equivocation. Here's another place that he equivocated. He talked about Will Smith. I'm gonna get to Will Smith. He talked about Michael Jackson. He opened the night talking about Michael Jackson. I mean, we see the assault on Michael Jackson from HBO. We see the assault on Michael Jackson from Les Moonves and CBS and what they had going on when he personally said he wanted to take down Janet because of his hate for Michael, allegedly, and all that shit. Michael got found innocent in court multiple times. The special got taken off of HBO because of his lies and inaccuracies. Michael Jackson was followed by the FBI for a 20-year period off and on. They couldn't find anything. And he brings up Michael Jackson and he equivocates that to R. Kelly. R. Kelly, for what is, at the end of the day, like him or not, he's on camera doing what he did. Literally on camera. R. Kelly got found guilty by a court of law. Whether you agree with this decision or not, he got found guilty. I'm speaking along that line right there. I'm only speaking from a legal standpoint and from just a common sense standpoint. R. Kelly got put on video. I never watched the video, but the video of him pissing on an old girl that was around forever and got put in court. And he equivocated that to Michael Jackson. Somebody who's the most recent case with Safe Chuck and Roberson, whatever the fuck their names are, got thrown out by the courts into a 2020, or was that 2021? Michael Jackson, as clean as a whistle, and you bring up that black man, and you equivocate him to another black man that got found guilty. I'm still here. Y'all, as a black man, I'm tired of this shit. As a black man, I'm tired of this because I'm a black man who's never gotten arrested. My record is so clean. I've never even gotten a ticket. I don't even have a ticket on my record. My record is so clean. I got good credit, never been arrested, got a college degree, 2 college degrees. I don't have a moving violation on my record. I've never stolen anything. But as a black man, with that being said, all I know is I'm only one mistake or one perfect lie away from being guilty the rest of my life. Let me say that again. I understand as a black man who has a squeaky clean record, I am only one mistake or one lie away from being guilty the rest of my life and being identified by a potentially one bad decision. or perceived bad decision or a lie. And I'm tired of it. I understand white people are going to be this. We can't. White folks are going white folks. I don't expect them to change. White folks are going to white folks. Somebody said I could become a cop or run for office. Why don't you become a cop or run for office? Why you want to put a target on my back, brother? Shit. I'm living my black ass life. Fuck I want to be a cop for. That was funny. But yeah, what's up, Tito?
You want special?
Yes, I'm talking about the special now on YouTube. That shit was trash. What you think?
I didn't get to see the whole thing. I only saw like 30 minutes.
Cause he was shitting on niggas the whole time.
I didn't get to see the whole thing, man. I gotta go check it out now.
Yeah, go check it out. Let me know what you think. And I'm gonna be at the Comedy Store on Thursday. I crack him up on Thursday.
I'll probably pull up before this house.
All right. Yeah. Oh yeah, for y'all in there, I'm gonna be at the Comedy Store on Thursday. You don't have to come, but because I'm gonna throw another show in April. End of April, I'm throwing another show for y'all. For Butter Love You is there. Let them know how dope my last show was. I'm throwing another show at the end of April. I'll let y'all know the date sometime next week. So if you missed the last show, you'll get to see another one. Oh, and for those of you who follow my Patreon, I uploaded this past Saturday show. It's on Patreon. So if you follow me on Patreon, if you want to see last Saturday's show, join my Patreon. The show is uploaded. It's uploaded to Patreon. So thank you, Bruce. That show is for white people's consumption. Yeah. See, that's why I'm be looking at the chat room, man. Y'all over here getting ahead of yourselves between Butter Love trying to be direct and ignorant and be blunt and shit, and you niggas coming to the end. You niggas calm down in the chat room. I'm getting there. But salute to y'all. I appreciate everybody here in the chat room, man, because y'all ain't got to be here. I even appreciate you 6 niggas that I hate watching. For all you niggas hate watching, that smell on your towels, on those decorative towels in your mama's bathroom was my ball sack. So yeah, when you went over your mama's house and dried your hands and the towel smelled funny, you smelling the residue from my balls. That's to all you niggas that's hate watching or gonna leave a stupid ass comment at the end of the show. But back to what we talking about. So the nigga said tank towels. You niggas are stupid. Nigga said tank towels. Back to what I'm talking about. Okay, so Chris Rock is talking about Will Smith. I mean, we're on the part where he's talking about equivocating Michael Jackson with R. Kelly. As a black man, I know that I'm only one lie away from the rest of my life being tainted. I understand white people are going to do that. I don't like it, but that's just how they are. All you got to do is pay attention to white history and not just white president. Look at how they treat one another when we're not around. They can't stand each other. So I don't expect better treatment from them than they treat themselves. But as a black person, we ain't got to help them. All of that taking money to side with whiteness, that shit is corny. That shit's over with, y'all. We in a new day. All right, man, you have a good one. That's some shit that was funny in the 90s. If you go back and look at In Living Color, as much as I loved In Living Color in the 90s, In Living Color was doing a lot of coon shit. But I'm not mad at In Living Color because during the 90s, that was a time. Black America, there was like this, there was this, Black America, y'all know me, I like to go on my mini short-term history trips. Let's go back to the early 90s. There was a, there was a, kind of like a schizophrenic, bipolar paradox going on in Black America in the early 90s. On one hand, you had the Malcolm X, the X-Clan, the conscious hip-hop, the Five Percenters was running hip-hop at the time. You had a lot of consciousness going on. The Malcolm X medallions, y'all remember those? The Black Fist picks. You had that extreme consciousness. You're not extreme. You had that strong consciousness going on. At the same time, you had a lot of coonery going on in the comedy. Def Comedy Jam, that whole Chris Rock style of comedy was all about shitting on black people. Go back and look at Def Comedy Jam. Def Comedy Jam was always niggas ain't shit. White people on time. Black people always late. White people go on vacations. Black people just have a day off. Am I lying? Do y'all remember that time? On one hand, it was very conscious. On the other hand, it was black people. You know, you going to a black wedding when it start 2 days after the day on the wedding on the invitation. I got to the wedding, and the wedding supposed to be on Saturday at 10 in the morning. The bride didn't jump the broom until Monday Night Football. In 1991, that's a funny ass joke. So Chris Rock comes from that era of comedy to where you got special attention for shitting on black people. Y'all know me when I talk to y'all, I like to bring in historical context. Because I don't want you just to be like, I'm not just running my mouth to run my mouth. I mean, to just say, believe me. I don't want nobody to believe me. I want y'all to question me. And, you know, I want y'all to feel me. And to go back and tell me if I'm wrong, if I'm lying, if I'm wrong, point it out. You dig? I'm not looking for a cult following. My point of view is to spur thought within black society, not to gain a cult following. I don't give a, that's why I don't mind coming on here in the dark. Y'all know how I look. Y'all see me on Tuesday. Tuesday I'll be on camera. Y'all know how I look. I'm not hiding from y'all. People who my pictures are all out there. You know what I mean? Y'all know who the fuck I am. But it's not about me. It's about spurring thought within black society to make us question and see things from a different point of view. That's what I do. So that's a good point, Fave Joe. That's why Paul Mooney was never mainstream. Thank God for Dave Chappelle for giving Paul Mooney a second life before he passed away. If it weren't for Dave Chappelle, Paul Mooney would have gone away in obscurity. So Chris Rock comes from that era of comedy. Even like I was watching a whole bunch of Martin reruns. And you know, Martin, my two favorite shows of all time are Martin and Married with Children. And, you know, even some of the jokes that Martin would say to Pam, it'd be like, they were funny as hell, but it was like, they were centered in her dark skin. But that was acceptable for the time. That was the time. Remember this, and chat room, get me back to my point. For the chat room, get me back to my point, because I'm talking about the first bit with with Chris Rock, talking about Michael Jackson and R. Kelly. Get me back to this point, but I want to say this point. Y'all know me, my minor in college is cultural anthropology. Let me tell you one of the anthropological rules for studying society. Y'all ready? Take notes. I'll give you 2 rules. Whenever you're looking back at a particular point in time, you have to look back at that point in time from the context of that time as best you can. That's why it's not good to just rush to judgment. You want to get as much of an understanding about the era and time you're in before drawing a conclusion. And that includes slavery. Because white supremacists will be like, well, it was, let me tell y'all something. Slavery was never acceptable. Thomas Jefferson talked about, not Thomas Jefferson, Ben Franklin talked about the hell that the people, white folks down the line are going to have to pay for what they've done. Count, there was a letter from Count Vonley. Count Vonley was a French monarch. He was in the French monarchy, and he even talked about how, you know, much the white society is going to have to pay for enslaving the people that taught them everything they know. So even when we're talking about 1776, even when we're talking about 1842, slavery was seen as bad then too. They just didn't care. So so my point still stands when it comes to looking at history from the context of the time, because a white supremacist will turn around and say, well, slavery was normal in 1840. No, it was seen as negative then too. Just pull up the newspaper clippings. It was seen as negative then too, okay? That's the first point. So whenever we go back in history, we have to always consider the context of the time and learn best the context of the time. That's rule number one. Rule number two is society cultural norms shift every 25 years. Let me say that again. Cultural norms in societies change every 25 years. American society, it shifts every 25 years. So here's an example. For anyone that's over 40 years old or over 35 years old can attest to this. If you're 40, that means you were born in 83. 1992 and 2007 were totally different eras. Matter of fact, 2007 to now is totally different. And we could probably tighten that number to every 20 years. Especially when we have these lines of demarcation, like 9/11 was a line of demarcation. We all can look back, and all of us that were around, we all know that the world was different before 9/11. Before 9/11, you could run through the airport. You can get to the airport 20 minutes before your flight and leave. You know, America didn't have all these phone taps. It was free. It was more open. Kids could walk up and down the street without the police. You know, police harass. Of course, police have always harassed, but children were able to be more free, running up and down and playing up in the street. You look at 1992, it was normal to see the kids on the bikes running up and down the street playing freeze tag at night. You look at now, you don't see kids on the street like that no more. Society shift every 20 to 25 years. You look at COVID. There was the world pre-COVID and the world post-COVID. COVID changed the world. So society and societal norms shift. So Chris Rock comes from an era when the societal norm was shitting on black society was a funny joke, especially to black people. That was the context of the early 90s. Shitting on black people was fun. It was funny. And dozens of black comics, got their careers shitting on black people. Okay? So, payphones ain't never coming back, brother. So y'all know me, when I talk, I like to triangulate other points of knowledge. Because remember, information, knowledge is 360. You don't have a true understanding of anything unless you have 360 degrees. No one person can offer you 360 degrees, especially not me, but I can offer you my perspective from a few different angles. And hopefully my perspective, you can triangulate my perspective with your perspective and draw your own conclusion depending on where you are. So back to where I'm talking about the Chris Rock special tonight on Netflix. We're talking about the Netflix special with Chris Rock. For anyone that's new in the chat room, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining. And so back to what we were talking about. We're talking about that first bit. Who are these old jive-ass niggas down the street running their goddamn mouth? I love living in a black neighborhood. I got these old niggas and later on, or further on down the block. Y'all got old niggas on your block? Old ass black men that be out in front of their house smoking a cigarette. Hey, brother. What's up? What's happening there? Y'all good? Yeah. Let me back up. I got them old niggas. What's up, young? All right, yeah, y'all good. Back to what I'm talking about. Anyway, we're talking about the Netflix special with Chris Rock. And so that was that bit. That was one bit that pissed me off. Let's keep going to more bits. Nigga said Charlie Ray. That nigga said Charlie Ray. Oh, man. And then so here's the other thing that pissed me off. Chris Rock went in to dark-skinned jokes. He said a joke, again, equivocation. When he was talking about the royal family, he said that basically the royal family, Meghan Markle didn't have any complaints because the royal family was preoccupied with what color the baby would be. And then Chris Rock said, well, that's the same with black people. We all live. We want to know if the baby gonna come out looking like Stephen Curry or Draymond Green. He equated the royal family looking at the skin tone of a baby to black people who are just gonna crack a couple jokes. Meghan Markle, and I'm not a fan of Meghan Markle at all. I agree with him, and she should have known what she got herself into. But for them to leave the royal family and move back to California, that should tell you that for Prince Harry to abandon his family, that's a level of racism that most of us probably cannot comprehend. And again, I'm not a fan of Meghan Markle. Even though me and Meghan Markle grew up a mile from each other, me and Meghan Markle lived in the same neighborhood, View Park, when I was in high school. Meghan Markle went to elementary school with like a lot of people I went to high school with, because she went to 54th Street Elementary School before she got transferred to like them private white schools. Before she started going to white school, she was at 54th Elementary. And like, I have like 20 or 30 people from my high school that went to elementary school with Meghan Markle. Hell, I passed her mama's house, what, Thursday? I passed her mama's house on Thursday? Angela's Vista? Well, with that being said, she can't, like, that's a certain level of racism that we can't comprehend. And again, going back to equivocation, fallacy of equivocation, look it up. In communication, I told y'all my minor was anthropology. My major was communication studies. And I'm so lucky and blessed because I'm one of the few niggas on earth that got a liberal arts degree, and I actually use my liberal arts degree every day. Most of you niggas with liberal arts degree ain't used that shit since the last class you took. I'm lucky. No, really, I just follow my spirit. Well, so when we're talking about communication and Chris Rock using equivocation, the minute someone uses equivocation in an argument, that's a fallacy. What is it? Why do I keep using the word fallacy? Because once a fallacy is used, that negates any argument. That negates any argument once a fallacy is used. And equivocation, false equivalence, that's a fallacy. He equivocated the hell Meghan Markle had to go through with the royal family, with black people curious about the skin tone of the baby. Let's go into history real quick, shall we? And chat room, Ebony in the chat room, some of y'all help me get back on my point when I finish my history segue. I'm gonna get back on my point about, because my next point is about Draymond Green and Stephen Curry. So mods, when I finish this point, get me back on that point about Draymond Green and Stephen Curry. But let's go some history real quick. Why do black people, why are we so curious about skin tone? Where does that come from? Man, I'm giving you niggas an anthropology lesson tonight. Y'all need to take notes. Let's go back to anthropology. In anthropology, we're taught that anything that happens in a society is the responsibility of the dominant society. Some of you guys may listen to Tariq or Jason Black or different people use the word dominant society. And I've had people hit me up and say they don't like the term dominant society. But let me tell you where it comes from. That's actually a scientific term. All dominant society means is the group in charge of running the society. That's dominant. That's literally what it means. It's not personal. It's not saying that you're weak or they're strong. It's just facts. And the people running American society are white, Anglo-Saxon, Protestant males. Let me say it one more time. The society in control, the people in control of American society are white, Anglo-Saxon, Protestants. What are Protestants? They're people from the Protestant church. Who is the head of the Protestant church? The King of England. Used to be the Queen, but now King Charles. The Protestant church, where does it come from? Protestant, protest. Protesting what? The Catholics started this thing called slavery. And the Catholic Church, the Vatican, divided the world between the Spanish and the Portuguese in the 1200s. In protest of the Spanish and Portuguese being the only two people allowed to enslave the world, the Portuguese was given the Eastern Hemisphere, the Spanish was given the Western Hemisphere, and that's why Portugal still has, that's the reason why you don't have any real Spanish strongholds in Africa, but you have a bunch of Portuguese strongholds, and that's why you have a lot of Spanish strongholds in the Western Hemisphere. The Portuguese by the Vatican was given Brazil. They were given Brazil, and the Spanish were given everything else in the 1200s. Well, as you get into the 14 and 1500s, England is gaining power, and England wants its place in the slave trade. And so in protest of the Vatican Church giving up the land, giving up slavery to the Spanish and the Portuguese, England created the Church of England in protest of the Catholic Church. Therein lies your Protestant Catholic rivalry. That's the reason why the English and the Irish always fought, because the Irish stayed Catholic and the English were protests. The Protestant church is a militant church. It's a church that wanted a divine right from God to enslave people, to enslave black people specifically. So since the Vatican would not give up the right to enslave, the Church of England created itself and gave itself divine right to enslave black people. And therein lies to join the slave trade. And let me go one step deeper before I get back to my point. Let me go one step deeper. When we're talking about King James and the 1600s and the 1500s, a lot of your British monarchy, that monarchy was black. Read the book Ancient and Modern Britons, Part 1 and Part 2 by David McRitchie. Let me one more time. Read the book by David McRitchie. That's the author of the book. David McRitchie. It's a yellow book. Ancient and Modern Britons. The Briton is black. The British is white. Ish means kind of. Jewish. British. Irish. Because the original people of Ireland were black little midgets named Latois and Butte, and that's where you get the leprechaun from. That's why they're Irish, British. Well, in the 1600s, the white folks, the Anglo-Saxons, were gaining in power, and they sacked the black monarchy. Queen Charlotte was black. That's Charlotte, North Carolina. Queen Charlotte, she was black. All of the British monarchy, they're Germanic people with black bloodlines, okay? You can read this in books. The Moors by Ivan Van Sertima. The Golden Age of the Moor by Ivan Van Sertima. Ancient and Modern Britons by David McRitchie. What's another book? There's one more book. I'm drawing a blank. It's in my room. God damn it. I see the book. I see a picture of the book. It's by Stanley Poole. Stanley Poole is the author. I forgot the name of the book. Well, anyway, I gave you guys 3 book references. If you think I'm bullshitting and you like this nigga's in the dark, he ain't telling the truth. I gave you 3 book references. Go look it up. Back to what we talking about. So, when these Anglo-Saxons sacked the darker-skinned monarchy, the Protestant church took over. And the Protestant church gave itself the right to enslave darkies. That's what the Protestant church did. So these are the people that Meghan Markle are dealing with. These people are extremely sensitive about black blood being reinfused into the monarchy. And let me give you one more book. It's a book called it just was in my head and I drew a blank. It's called I see the cover of the book. I visually see it. It's called what's the name of that book? It's a book that has like the name, the Burke's Peers Review. That's what it's called. It's very expensive. It's about $1,000. Don't buy it. Just go see if you can find it at a library. Whatever city you're in, order this book from your library. It's called the Burke's Peerage Review. You may not be able to order it. You might have to go to your library and read it there. And in the Burke's Peerage, it shows you the bloodline of all of the monarchies around the world. And it takes you back in time. Who birthed who, birthed who, birthed who. If you think I'm bullshitting, read the Burke's Peerage. Okay? I'm giving you guys references because I'm not bullshitting you and I'm not an egomaniac. I'm not here to act like I know it all. I'm just a nigga that reads shit. And I'm a dope ass teacher and I know how to disseminate what I read. And I get some shit from download, but if I get a download through Spirit, I'm gonna tell y'all that's a download through Spirit. I'm not gonna bullshit you. I'll tell you the difference between when I get a download from Spirit and when you can go and pick up a fucking book and read it your goddamn self. The shit I'm talking about tonight, you can pick up a goddamn book and read it yourself. All right? So, again, I'm not really looking at the chat room, y'all, because I'm in a stream of consciousness. Yeah, I know how I get down. My thoughts just come through me and I speak through me. But so if you got any questions, I'm gonna answer your questions when we get to the end, okay? Because I'm not looking at the chat room right now. So hold your questions till later, because I'm probably not gonna see it. But anyway, Chris Rock, anyway, Chris Rock talks about that. Then he gets into, so he equivocates black people, these white people who are extremely sensitive about black blood being reinfused into their bloodline. He equivocates that to black people. What's black people's context towards skin tone? The reason why black people are focused on skin tone, because in American society, up until what, 60 years ago? Up until 60 years ago, the skin tone of a black person determined their position in American society. Black people who can hide and pass can get a little further in black society than those who can't. I mean, in white society. Skin tone, for the majority of our history here in America, is directly tied to economic opportunities offered to us. Let me say that again. Skin tone in America there's a one-to-one connection historically between skin tone and the economic opportunities offered within the society. So black people's connection to skin tone is far different than white people's connection to skin tone. White society doesn't want a black baby because white people hate black people. That's why white people have their issue with skin tone, because the majority of them, not all, but the majority of them hate black people and they don't want black blood in their bloodline. That's their connection to skin tone. Black people's connection to skin tone, however, is tied to economic opportunities. Equivocation. Fallacy of equivocation. Equivocation is a fallacy. Do y'all dig what I'm saying? So let's go into the Draymond Green, Steph Curry point. Now Chris Rock goes into talking about skin tone. In full disclosure, I don't mind skin tone jokes. I love black jokes. They funny as hell. The other day when I was at the Improv, I hit Marcus with a good ass black joke. I believe all jokes are on the table. Talk about dark-skinned people, talk about fat people, talk about midgets, especially talk about people with bad breath. People with bad breath deserve to be talked about real bad, real bad. If you don't brush your fucking teeth and wash out with some Listerine and take a peppermint tablet so you can clean out your esophagus, you deserve to get clowned. People with buck teeth deserve to get clowned. That's just funny. Why not laugh at a cross-toothed motherfucker? That's just hilarious. But I'm not gonna tell black jokes in front of white people. That's where we stop. You talking about Draymond Green's skin tone and how black he is. And you went in on how black he is. In front of white people and non-black people. When I'm in front of white people, when I'm in front of anybody that's not black American, black is the most beautiful motherfucking thing on this earth, because it is. I can sit them jokes to the side when they are in the room. I don't believe in laughter coming at the expense of black people. Those times are over with. And he went in on Draymond Green's skin tone. He even had a callback later on in his set where he talked about he didn't wash his pillows, and he's talking about like not having a wife and how he didn't know to wash his pillow sheets. And then his callback was, my pillow looked like Draymond Green was sleeping on them. Like, really? We doing these black jokes because a white man paid you? I thought you started this special with, I don't want to offend nobody, Chris Rock. And then he goes into another bit about women. This whole special was a Democrat, liberal jizz fest. Let me say that again. This whole special was a liberal, feminist, Democrat, circle jerk jizz fest. Because now he gets in talking about women and how basically he's divorced. And Chris Rock low-key came out. And there's always a hint of truth in jest. Chris Rock low-key came out. He basically said that he'd rather be around that trans women are better than natural-born women. Yeah. He basically said that because he said, because with a trans, a trans didn't know what a 4-4 defense is. He basically said trans women are better than natural-born women because they understand football. Yeah. I'm not lying. Look it up. I encourage y'all to watch the special. Don't take my... Again, if you're new in here, welcome. I'm not in the dark because I'm hiding from people. I'm in the dark because I like to smoke weed out in front of my house and not have a fucking light in my eyes. If you want to know how I look, follow me on Instagram at DwannB, or you'll see me Tuesday on Caffeine. I'll be on camera looking fat and beautiful, nigga. I'm a beautiful ass fat nigga. But on Saturday night, I am not about to have, and I have a studio in my room. I am not about to have no fucking light in my eye while I'm getting high and smoking and drinking. Fuck y'all. Hit the like button, hit the share button. Get your t-shirts. DwannB.com is getting built right now, y'all. I'm putting up all new products, my same products on DwannB.com and some new ones. But all my products are going to be they have a much more higher quality. My hoodies and everything, I got to the highest quality of everything on DwannB.com. So that's coming to y'all real soon. And my Patreon has last week's comedy special that I did. It's up on my Patreon, DwannB Live. And my next one's going to be at the end of April. So, yeah, you see me on Craig Facts. That's right. Salute to Craig. Craig Facts crew. Blaze, Todd. I love that nigga Todd. Blaze and Todd. Craig, Blaze, and Todd came through to the show. I put Craig up on stage. Blaze and Todd came through to my show. It was good seeing Todd and Blaze. I love Todd, man. That's a good nigga. That's a good dude right there. Todd on Blaze, on Craig Facts. Y'all follow him. And y'all let him know. Y'all let Todd know. Inbox Todd on Instagram, man. Tell that nigga Todd, if anybody y'all listening, if y'all follow Uncle Todd, inbox that nigga on IG and say, hey, Dwann said you is a solid, good-hearted, good-ass nigga. And salute to you. Tell him I said that. I love Todd. That's a good individual right there. Blaze, too. Blaze is a good dude. And y'all, Corey Holcomb is a good dude. I appreciate that, Bachelor Life. That nigga Larry calling me. Got the phone, nigga. But man, salute to Corey. Corey Holcomb is a good dude too. Let me tell y'all a quick Corey Holcomb story. That's who should have got the fucking Netflix special, Corey Holcomb. If y'all look on my YouTube shorts or on my Instagram, y'all see a night when Corey Holcomb, we was clowning this nigga with purple shoes in front of the Improv. We was clowning the shit out this nigga's shoes. Do you know this nigga Corey gave this nigga, after we finished clowning that dude, Corey gave that nigga like $1,500, $2,000 in tennis shoes. He gave that nigga a pair of Yeezys, a pair of like rare Nikes, like some pennies. So Corey be talking all that shit. But as much shit as Corey Holcomb talk, that brother's heart is every bit as golden. And I'm telling y'all that just from personal experience being around that brother. Even Larry was telling me a story. Shouts out to Larry. Larry opened up for Ida Rodriguez this past weekend in Houston. And Ida Rodriguez, that's one of my friends. I love Ida Rodriguez. Ida Rodriguez, we don't talk a whole lot like we used to, but I love Ida. If y'all in here, man, if y'all see anything Ida Rodriguez is doing, I love Ida. I be talking all this shit about non-immigrants and these people and non-FBA, and Ida Rodriguez is down. I love her. Like, from my heart. She had Larry open up this past weekend. And even she was talking about how much of a gentleman Corey is, away from the camera. Even she was talking about how much, Larry told me how much, so salute. But back to what we're talking about. We're talking about this Chris Rock special and how he's shitting on black society. And I'm laying out my case. I'm not asking you to agree with me. I'm just asking you to see my point of view and consider my point of view. And I'm encouraging you to watch the special yourself and to draw your own conclusion. I'm not here to tell you what to think. I'm just here to ask you to think. That's all I'm here for. All I want is for you to think. I don't care what you think. So, yeah, you're right, Kirk. Corey's a good dude, like all the way good dude. And like Corey always say, he goes for a certain type, and all of his jokes are for a certain type. Somebody said me and Larry cool again. When have me and Larry not been cool? Where you get that from? Larry's like one of my best friends on earth. Like, I'm closer with Larry than I am family. Shit. Somebody said me and Larry cool again. Me and Larry are always gonna be cool. Hit the like button. But yeah, Butter Love, you a fool. Hey, Butter Love, I'm glad you came to the show. You was cracking. Larry, Butter Love was laughing her ass off on the front row of the show last week. I'm glad you liked the show. Kirk, it was good seeing Kirk Owen at the show. I told you I like meeting you niggas in person. I do. I like meeting y'all in person. I like meeting y'all in person. It was good meeting you, Kirk. But BB, you said when you found the channel, you thought me and Larry hated each other. Yeah, me and Larry be going at it. Because Larry's a hoe ass nigga. And I beat that nigga's ass, but that's my dog. But anyway, so Chris Rock in front of black people went in on Draymond Green's skin tone. And that's going to even sound more absurd when I get to the end and I tell you how he ended the show. It's going to even sound more absurd then. So, Chris Rock spent the special equivocating black discretion with white aggression. And then he goes into a whole bitch fest towards the end when he starts talking about Will Smith. Oh, no, before I get to Will Smith, he started talking about OJ. Y'all, Chris Rock hit us with another OJ joke. How long we been hearing OJ jokes? Let me say something real quick, black people. We gotta be doing real good as a society when the only thing they can bring up is OJ, an event that did or didn't happen in 1995. I remember when was that 94? That was 94. I remember when the OJ chase happened. June 17th, that was my 13th birthday. My mama was bringing us home we went to Raging Waters that day. That was the end of what, 7th grade. 7th grade had just let out for me. 7th grade just let out. My mom took me and my homeboy to Raging Waters. And on the way home from Raging Waters, we hear on the radio that O.J. Simpson is running from the police. We get home and we turn on the TV and we see, run, O.J., he running. I was 13 when that happened. I'm 41. What the fuck is Chris Rock still talking about that shit? Let's just say OJ did it. I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I don't like playing devil's advocate with devils, but I'm gonna play it right now because y'all not devils. I'm gonna play devil's advocate with people who believe OJ's guilty. Fine. I don't think he's guilty, but to get the larger point of view across, I'm gonna say yes, OJ's guilty. Fine. That decision was laid down in 1995. I was at Westchester High School. We were in homeroom. No, we were in Mr. Hyatt's class. I was in Algebra 1, Mr. Hyatt, Westchester High School. For you young niggas that too young to remember, or you old folks that already had jobs and you was living your life by then, let me go back in history. We were in class and a special announcement was made across the loudspeaker. And when the OJ decision was laid out, we stopped Algebra 1, Mr. Hyatt, Westchester High School, to hear the OJ decision. Not guilty. My teacher was white. About 20% of the class was white. Westchester High School was 95% black school. It was a 90% black school, 10% white. Well, I would say Westchester High was 90% black, 7% white, 3% Mexican. And like 1% Asian or 2%, something like that. But Westchester High was a black school, but we had white folks in it. All of the white people put their heads down in disappointment and disgust. And all the black people were like, yay, OJ won, woohoo. My point is, I was in the 9th grade. That's my point. I'm 41. I got gray chin hairs and a receding hairline. And Chris Rock brought that shit up as a joke. I appreciate the Cash App. And y'all can hit me on the Cash App, $DwannBrown. I need the money. I'm not even gonna be ashamed to say it. Send me. I got some expenses like a motherfucker that I'm trying to put through back into this podcast. It's just one camera I'm trying to get. It's like my new podcast camera I want for this show is like it's like $1,800. And I'm gonna get up on that motherfucker. So donate, nigga. $DwannBrown. Or buy a t-shirt or get your reading. Y'all need a cardology. Y'all know how I know I'm a dope-ass cardologist? This week, the person who gave me my first reading back, I come from church. I appreciate the Cash App, Mar Woods. I come from the church in my environment. In church, I used to be scared as fuck of card readings. And the person who gave me my first card reading, I gave her a reading this week. And she told me it was one of the best readings she has ever had in her life. So I was like, all right, cool, I'm dope. You know how dope I am at reading cards? I read my mother-in-law this morning. That shit was scary as fuck. I read my mother-in-law. And my mother-in-law, an official reading. And my mother-in-law said it was the best reading, one of the best readings she's ever had. She been doing this shit, getting readings for 50 years. And so that's how I know I'm the shit. I got validation from the person that turned me on to this and my mother-in-law. So I'm good now. Back to what we talking about. So when we break it all down, Chris Rock used his platform to shit on black society after opening his special saying he doesn't want to offend anyone. Then he shit on women by equating women by saying trans women are better. Then he turned around and said, he equated the British monarchy's racism to black people questioning the skin tone of a child, knowing the reason why black people care about the skin tone, because it's passed down through our epigenetics, survival. Dr. Jordan Grew says epigenetics passes down at least 3 generations, probably more, but 3 is all they can prove for now. And 3 generations ago, skin tone still mattered. Can we tell the truth, y'all? Can we have some church up in this bitch tonight? Can we tell some fucking truth? I'm not in that. Yes, I'm a card reader, and yes, I can go esoteric on you. I can go metaphysical on you. I'm a deep-ass nigga when it comes to spirituality. But tonight, we talking about some earth shit. We talking about the practical, here and now, tangible shit. I can read the cards on Chris Rock later. I think he's a 5 of diamonds. If y'all could tell me Chris Rock's birthday, or I might be able to put, well, we'll talk about the cards later. We talking about some earth shit tonight. We talking earth tonight. So, Chris Rock, let's talk some epigenetics. Trauma, what is proven scientifically as of today, is passed down 3 generations. 3 generations ago, the paper bag test within black society was still a thing. 3 generations ago. 3 generations ago, if you're dark, you're a janitor. If you're light-skinned, you're a secretary. 3 generations ago, if you're light-skinned, you might be able to join a particular boule organization or a particular organization that allows you access to bank loans and finances that's not afforded to darker-skinned people. So out of survival, the black people care about skin tone as a survival tactic. This is motherfucking science, nigga. As I hit my blunt. So, this is what we're dealing with. This is what we're dealing with. So Chris Rock equivocates British monarchy, pimp down racism to black survival tactics. Not cool. Not cool. Not cool. And you're right. Quan is still going on in other parts of the world, black world. He brings up OJ, an event that happened a different time, a different fucking millennium ago. OJ was last millennium. So black people, back to my original point, what I was saying, we doing goddamn good. We've known R. Kelly was a pedophile and pissing on girls because that video came out in the 90s. Michael Jackson accusations came out in the 90s. And so when it come down to it, and OJ happened in the 90s. So this nigga Chris Rock is having to pull on some shit that happened last century, last millennium. To equivocate to degeneracy going on in white society now. He didn't bring up Les Moonves. He didn't bring up Steven Tyler, Ted Nugent, Brett Favre. Brett Favre just happened a couple months ago. Where's your Brett Favre joke, coon, corny ass nigga? Where's the Brett Favre joke? He didn't say shit about Brett Favre. Robert Sarver, let's forget, this past September, Robert Sarver, owner of the Phoenix Suns, got found of having over 10 plus years of organizational racism towards black people, cases going back to 2003. He could have brought up Robert Sarver's first racism case, and it would have been more recent than anything he talked about regarding OJ, R. Kelly, or Michael Jackson. Let's tell the whole motherfucking truth. He didn't bring up Brett Favre. He didn't bring up Jeremy Tubin. What about Jeremy Tubin? The white dude on CNN, that racist son of a bitch on CNN that got caught jacking off on a Zoom call in the meeting. That would have been a funny joke. How the CNN news anchor got caught on TV, got caught in the meeting jacking off. You couldn't make something funny out of that? What about Les Moonves? Harvey Weinstein, Kevin Spacey, Charlie Sheen, Marilyn Manson. Marilyn Manson been in the news, but they take the shit right out. Corey, Marilyn Manson been having an accused that's been major rape accusations with Marilyn Manson. But like a good little Negro, he ain't have no heat for none of that shit. That nigga had to go back to last century, last millennium to fuck with us. That show you how much of a sorry son of a bitch he is. Dwan, why are you talking like this? This is why I'm talking like this. Because as black society, we got to clean house first. And clean the house starts with these celebrities that are paid to shit on us. Fuck them. Fuck them. If you're using your celebrity status to gin up false narratives that harm black society, you're an enemy. Let me say that one more time, and let me be very clear. If you're a celebrity that uses your celebrity to gin up and keep alive narratives, false narratives that harm black society, you are an enemy of black society. I'm making that very clear. That's my point of view talking about Chris Rock. That's where the issue is. Therein lies the issue. You're using your platform to gin up and keep alive false narratives that harm the greater good of black society. And you're making it okay for a black person who makes one mistake, either a perceived mistake or, in Michael Jackson's case, a flat out fucking lie, something that we can't live down. And you're helping that. That means you're an enemy. You're wearing my same uniform, but we ain't on the same team based on your actions. This isn't my judgment. This isn't me saying you're a bad guy. This isn't me saying you're not a good father or a bad husband. I don't know this man personally. I don't know anything about him personally. I've met him a couple times. I've run across him. I'm an LA nigga. I be in all the parties. I met everybody. So I don't mind talking about people I've met. I met everybody. There's very few people I haven't met. I've never met Ice Cube, and I met Snoop Dogg. I want to meet Cube and Snoop. Those are two people I want to like really meet. And Too Short. I want to meet Cube, Snoop, and Too Short. And I want to meet George Clinton, and I want to meet Bootsy Collins. And I want to meet Verdine White from Earth, and Fire and Philip Bailey from Earth, and Fire. I haven't met none of them yet. My list of people I want to meet on Shaka Khan. I want to meet Shaka Khan. I want to meet Verdine White, the bass player from Earth, and Fire. Philip Bailey, the lead singer of Earth, and Fire. I want to meet Quincy Jones. I want to meet Snoop Dogg, Too Short, and Ice Cube. Outside of those people, I've met everyone else. Literally, I met everyone else. So I'm not impressed by these niggas. And if I run across Chris Rock after I said this, I have my chin up because I mean it. I'm not saying he's a bad person. Matter of fact, everyone I know that actually knows Chris Rock, they say he's a good guy. I know a few people who actually know Chris Rock and they know him well. And by all accounts, he's a good guy. I know other comics, I'm not gonna name them, that don't have good reputations. There are other people who I could be talking about right now that people that know them don't say they're good people. Not with Chris Rock. The people I know that know him say he's a good guy. Cool. But Chris Rock for the last 3 decades has been used as a pawn to say everything negative about black society that white society can't say. And therein lies our issue. That's my issue with Chris Rock. Chris Rock for the last 3 decades has been used to say things about black society that white society can't say. To make black society the punchline. That's his brand of comedy. Chris Rock is a highly intelligent comic. Chris Rock is a master comedian. He's one of the greatest comedians of all time. Easily. Chris Rock is easily one of the greatest comedians of all time. I cannot take away what he's already done in comedy. Even though this special was trash, I cannot take away what he's done. He's a master. He's a master at stand-up comedy. But this special wasn't it. And just because he's a master, that's why Netflix felt comfortable paying him that amount of money to do a live special. Because he uses his mastery, he uses his wizardry in a way to shit on black society. I'm not saying he isn't good. I'm saying he doesn't, everything's a tool. Water can either give you life or it can drown you. Fire can heat you up or it can burn you. Wind can give you oxygen or it can blow your fucking house down. Everything, let's give some more life game. More life game. We got to get out this judgment good. It's not about good and bad. There's positive and negative, and there are varying degrees. What's the difference between hot and cold? It depends on your perspective, right? I'm an LA nigga. It's 49 degrees in LA right now. I'm cold as fuck. That's why I got my hood on. I am cold, nigga. But you motherfuckers on the East Coast look at me like 49 degrees. I can wear a t-shirt and shorts. So what's the difference between hot and cold? Depends on your perspective. Everything in life is degrees and varying degrees. And I speak from that point of view. And Chris Rock is a master comedian. But the level in which he uses his wizardry is harmful to the greater good of black society. Again, I can't take away what he's done. Chris Rock has made some masterful comedy specials. Matter of fact, when I saw him at the Hollywood Bowl, I saw Chris Rock at the Hollywood Bowl last year with Dave Chappelle. I was at the show. Y'all remember the show when Dave Chappelle got tackled? I was there. Chris Rock was on stage before Dave Chappelle. And that set he had that night was hilarious. He did like 30 minutes before Chappelle. And that shit was funny than a motherfucker. It was way funnier than this shit he did tonight. That shit tonight was trash. Lori, I'm not sipping on dark liquor. I'm sipping on gin, as a matter of fact. I'm sipping on gin. Sipping on gin. Well, let's get back to the special. Because I want to finish my point before 100 minutes. And then after that, I can answer you guys' question. I want to finish my point within the next 13 minutes about the special. So then I can get to interacting and talking to y'all. Because y'all be saying some intelligent shit in the chat room. So, as we get towards the end of the special, he talks about Will Smith and that whole situation. And at this point, he's losing his cool. Again, this is live. Most specials are filmed twice, sometimes 3 times. And they're edited to make you think it's one special, one night. When it's really the same comic doing the same jokes 2 or 3 nights in a row wearing the same outfit. So, and they'll just have the crowd shots from one night so you can get a consistency. So, he gets into talking about the whole Will Smith situation. And he starts going ham on talking about calling Will Smith a bitch, calling Jada basically saying he's calling Will Smith all kind of bitches and just bitch this and bitch that and talking shit about Jada and how, and it was funny when he said that, he never would have known had they not been, had he not interviewed him. That part was funny. But if you guys go back and watch the special, pay attention. You start to see his body language come a little bit unraveled. I want you guys to watch the last 10 minutes. Watch the whole special with your third eye, but especially the last 7 minutes when he goes in and talking about Will Smith. You start to see his body language get loose. Look at his eyes. His eyes are getting dilated. He's no longer in his comedic persona. It's like, at this point, it's now personal. And you can tell he's starting to lose his place because he gets into calling Will Smith all kinds of bitch this and bitch that and bitch this and bitch that. And at first it was funny, but it kept going, and it was kind of like, yo. And before he gets all the bitch fest, he goes into talking about how, Will Smith, how big. He goes into the whole super Negro narrative. You know how like white folks like to talk about the super Negro? High Tower on Police Academy. For those of you who used to watch Police Academy, remember High Tower? It's like High Tower someone could hit High Tower with a fucking iron pipe. And High Tower was just gonna kind of bend over and look at him silly and take the hit. You know what I mean? The super Negro thing, Mr. T. The Negro that just has to have, that just is the kind of dude that just has everything, like, he's the strongest, most. And so Chris Rock goes into that sort of narrative of Will Smith. He's bigger, he's stronger. He's like, he played Ali. I played a crackhead. He's strong, he's bigger than me. Y'all ain't never seen him. But before he goes in even saying that, he's talking about how he ain't, first off, he starts that bit off by saying how he's not a bitch and how he could have ran to the media, but he didn't. He not gonna run to white folks and talk about Will Smith. I could have did all that, but I didn't do it. And so he goes right into what he could have did and what he didn't do to Will Smith is this super Negro. He's bigger than me, and I didn't do nothing. He plays innocent. For those of you who don't know, go back to my video I did last year on the slap. When the slap happened, what was my theme? I'm going to sing my theme song again. I got this theme song from Erykah Badu. She sings this on her concert tours. And when Erykah Badu goes in to sing a Tyrone, she has this hook where she says, leave other people's bitches alone. Excuse me, I can't sing, but I get it from Erykah Badu in her live show. Leave other people's bitches alone. Y'all know me. When I got into talking about the whole Will and Jada and Chris Rock situation, my point of view was different than most niggas on the internet. Most niggas on the internet took a side. What was DwannBrown's side? Dwan B. My last name is DwannBrown. DwannBrown, Cash App. DWANN. My point of view was, just don't talk about other people's women. Look, I'm a married man. As a married man, let me tell you, just leave people's wife out of it. That's my father taught me that. I learned that, my dad taught me that when I was a kid. Because my dad was never the kind, me and my dad are different in the fact that he's not about the jokes. My dad is more serious than me. I be cracking jokes. And I always was my whole life. So what my dad did, my dad being the genius father that he is, he knew his ignorant ass son wasn't gonna stop cracking jokes. So my dad was like, you know what, just, you don't talk about, just, you crack your little jokes or whatever, but don't get personal with people and don't talk about people's women. As a man rule, as a man with a pair of balls, and I got some big ass balls. Y'all know me, I say anything. Leave other people's bitches alone. How I feel about your relationship is irrelevant. Do I think Jada is playing Will? Yes. But does it matter? No. Because Will Smith is married to her. That's the woman that he chose. So my perspective on the whole situation is irrelevant. Leave other people's bitches alone. And I say that tongue in cheek. I don't call women bitches. It's just me being funny, having fun. You don't mess with other people's women. Oh shit, my microphone fell out. Y'all hear that? The sound whack, don't it? I sound distant, don't I? Let me put the mic back in. Ooh, la, there we go. Yeah, it's true. Children, too. Leave children alone. Chris Rock broke the first rule. And no, Erykah Badu is not a glorified baby one mama. Erykah Badu is a woman. Much respect to Erykah Badu. All three of her baby's fathers get along with her and with one another. That's a beautiful thing to me. That's divine. Everybody ain't gonna do it the traditional way. Everybody's path ain't traditional. But when one woman can have three different babies' fathers and those fathers have respect for her, they take care of the children, they're active in the children's life, and they have respect for one another, I have respect for everyone involved. We ain't about to sit here and judge people because their path ain't as direct. And this is coming from a married man. I'm a married man. This year's gonna be 9 years married. Been with the same woman for 19 years, married for 9. My best friend since the 7th grade. My parents are married, her parents are married. I'm straight-laced like a motherfucker. So coming from a straight-laced nigga, if you're a black woman out there, if you're a woman out there and you single parent, now I don't even want to use the word single parent. You're not married to the father of your child, but that father of the child is actively involved in the child's life, and you have a respectful relationship with the father of your child, or if you're a father and you have a respectful relationship with the mother of your child, and the child is getting equal access to both parents, salute to you. Everybody's path ain't the same. We done judging this shit. Do we want the shit to be conventional? Yes, we do. We do want conventional marriages. We do want marriages. We do want children being raised in a nuclear household. That is the goal. But unfortunately, in 2023, that's not the reality for too many people. So since that's not the reality, let's show respect for those who have respectful relationships. And let's point towards a goal of the future of having more marriages and more babies done that way. But in the meantime, for those who don't have that, but you have a respectful relationship with those, there's a respectful relationship between man, woman, and child, respect to you. It's not about promoting, it's about using your own black ass mind. Stop being stupid. Black people, no, we ain't playing that dumb shit in my chat room. Take that dumb shit somewhere else. I don't promote shit, I speak my mind. And you should use yours. That's what we do. We spur thought over here. I got my point of view, you got yours. Did I say I'm promoting? I literally just said the goal is nuclear black family. That's the goal, but that's not the reality. We gotta talk about what is, nigga. And this is coming from somebody whose wife is sitting, my wife is sitting 10 feet behind me right now. Critical thinking. Use your fucking brain, black people. Them days of getting led by the nose are over. That's it. There is no more being led. There is no, are you promoting? I'm promoting you to use your own goddamn mind. That's what I'm promoting. You ain't gotta agree with me. But what I'm not gonna do is take responsibility for your lack of thinking. I don't say you should agree with me. Matter of fact, I'm totally cool with anybody disagree with me. I'm cool with you. I'm cool with that. You could disagree with me. We can do that. But make your disagreement with me. Don't put it back on me and be like, so are you promoting? No. Own your point of view as I own my point of view. How about that? And we can respectfully disagree. But you gonna own your shit. You ain't putting your shit on me. God damn it. Back to what we talking about. And I say that with love. I'm only here to spur thought. I love all you niggas. Even you 6 niggas grudge watching. Somebody, I don't mind the people grudge watching, But don't be listening to me and have porn open in a different tab. No. If you one of the motherfuckers in here and you got Pornhub open in another tab, close this tab right now and handle your business. And when you done wiping off, then yeah, whatever. But if you got Pornhub open, you the only people I don't want listening to me. Close this tab right now. If X videos is open in another tab. All right? Back to what we talking about. That's the only people I don't want listening. I don't mind people who disagree. I don't mind people who don't like me. I'm cool with all that. Just don't be watching porn and listening to me at the same time. That's my only rule. Ruben texting me right now. My boy Ruben's at the Little Brother concert. Hannibal Buress opened up for him rapping. He just texted me and said, I got a little drop down. You know, you get the notifications. He said Fonte just clowned Hannibal Buress on stage. Good. But back to what we're talking about. So we get to the end of the special. And Chris Rock is basically playing coy. He's like, basically, I'm innocent. You guys did this. I don't know why Will Smith did that. Then he's going around talking about Will Smith was a super Negro. Will Smith played Muhammad Ali while he played a crackhead. And he's going in and making all these excuses as to why he didn't fire back. He called Will Smith about 28,000 bitches. I'm like, this is a lot of aggression you letting out, bruh. And then he messes up his bit. He uses a bit. He meant to say, I don't know what movie he meant to say, but he used the movie Emancipation, the one that just came out. So, from my point of view, that was the universe stepping in because he's doing all this shit out of anger. He was being a professional comic all night. But the minute he got to Will Smith, you see his body language transfer change from comic to vendetta with all of the bitches he called Will Smith. You see his body's getting tight. His face is getting tight. And the evidence he's getting tight is he messes up his bit. Now, as a comic, the closing bit is the most important part of your set. As a comedian, this how a comedy set is structured. You start off high, then whatever jokes aren't the best, but they're still funny, you stuff those in the middle of the set, and you leave your closing, your best bit, your best joke, you put it at the end. And any special that someone works on, Chris Rock has been working on his special for a year now. Some of the jokes he said tonight, I heard at the Hollywood Bowl last summer. Well, it wasn't even summer, it was like last April or May. Some of the jokes I heard tonight, I heard last year. So he's been working on his set for a year. He gets to his closing bit and he fumbles it. Because he was so tight, so angry. The brother was angry during the Will Smith bit. He was extremely angry. Go back and look. Peep his body language. Remember, words are only 8% of communication. Body language is 40%. The nigga said it sounds like Taharka Bay. So he gets to his closing bit and he transposes the movies. And then he says, messed it up. He even admitted, I messed it up. I was like, Emancipation? because I forgot how the bit was set up, but the context of what he was saying, Emancipation just came out. And he was talking about a movie that Will Smith was nominated for before. So, of course, it couldn't have been Emancipation because Emancipation just came out. It's not even time for that to be nominated. So he transposed the movies and he messed his bit up. So when he gets to the end line, he tripped and fell. He fumbled and stumbled. He fumbled the closing bit. And I think that was a little bit of the universe coming in. But he fumbled because he was tight. He was angry. He stopped being a comic and it got personal. So he fumbled the last bit. And then, this is the insult of insults. He ends the comedy special basically saying the reason he didn't fight Will Smith was because his mama taught him don't fight in front of white people. Yeah, I said that. Yeah. So he didn't fire back. Hold on. The reason you gave us the reason why you didn't fight back. You opened the bit talking about how Will Smith played Muhammad Ali and you played a crackhead and how much bigger Will Smith is than you. You started off talking about that. Then you ended saying that basically the reason you didn't fight is because your mama taught you not to fight in front of white people. But Chris Rock, you just spent the last hour shitting on black people in front of white people. You equivocated Michael Jackson, someone who was found innocent in a court of law 3 different times, followed by the FBI, nothing, with a convicted R. Kelly that we knew was doing this shit back in the 90s. Age Ain't Nothing But a Number came out, 94? Aaliyah was 15 years old in 1994? When she dropped Age Ain't Nothing But a Number? You equivocated a man that was found innocent by a court of law to someone found guilty by a court of law over some shit that we knew was going on in the 90s in front of white people. You brought up OJ in front of white people. You equivocated black women and basically said trans are better in front of white people. You shitted on Draymond Green's skin tone in front of white people. You equivocated the racism of the British monarchy with black people who just want to know the skin tone of the child so we could talk shit in front of white people. You called Will Smith a bitch 15,000 times in front of white people. You shitted on Will Smith's wife in front of white people. You do all this shit negative to black people in front of white people. But you want me to believe you didn't hit back because you were in front of white people. It's too dark for you niggas to see my facial expression right now, but I wish I could see yours. All this shit in front of white folks. But you didn't hit back because you was in front of white folks. Appreciate that, Quan. Quan with the high button. Hitting them stupid ass comments. Time them out next time, Quan. Time them out. But I don't know what the other person said, so hey. But I do see what that other person, Manit, said. That was a stupid ass comment. They deserve to get goddamn timed out. Fuck them. But anyway, he said working my nerves. Hey. But this is what happened. And here at this channel, we don't celebrity worship. We care about the greater good of black people. And I'm not here to shit on celebrities for no reason, just willy-nilly. But when they use their celebrity to shit on black people, that's where we draw the line. We stand up and speak for ourselves here. Oh, he did? Oh, yeah, good job. Good job hiding that motherfucker, blocking that motherfucker channel. I appreciate that, Quan. I trust your judgment. Here come the ambulance. That's a fire truck. That's an ambulance. See? Ambulance. They're going to get somebody. So, that's what it is, and that's my issue with the whole Chris Rock special. That's why I called it trash. I'm not calling him trash. I'm not saying he's a bad human being. I'm not saying he's a bad father or a bad comic, none of that. But he used this special to shit on black society from multiple angles. And that's trash. The treasonous special. I wanted to go live tonight to talk about all you dumb niggas that is mad at John Morant for showing a gun, but we'll talk about that another time. Because this Chris Rock special pissed me off. So, this is a new day. And for people coming in saying, questioning, why am I talking about this? Because they know. It's no more sitting there and being quiet when people use black society as a toilet bowl. Are we supposed to sit there and just, because they're a celebrity, because they sold out Madison Square Garden, because they sold a million records, or because they sold whatever, are we supposed to continue to be in the toilet that everybody shits on to make money? Well, if that's acceptable behavior to you, fine. I'm not going to tell you to change, but it's not acceptable behavior to me. Okay? Using black society as a toilet bowl to shit on for your personal gain, that's not acceptable behavior. And over here, we speak out against that. And if you have an issue with that, fine, get the fuck out of here. I ain't gonna change. I'm not gonna change. I'm not gonna stop because somebody in the chat room or somebody in the comment section at the end of the video says, well, you're just hating. Or shut up, bitch. I ain't changing. So, That's just where we at. Any questions? I appreciate the Cash App, Gambino. Chris Rock was on some bullshit. I could do when you said Chris Rock's birthday is 7/27. I don't know. You say visiting LA, it don't matter what colors you wear. Just don't wear baseball caps. The colors don't matter. The colors stopped mattering in LA in the 90s. These movies perpetuate a long dead stereotype. But if you're not coming to LA, the only thing he has caution for is baseball caps. If your boyfriend wears baseball caps, wear Dodgers or Lakers. That's it. Purple and gold, you can get away with Clippers. Clippers, Dodgers, Lakers, you're okay. Don't wear no Astros hats. Don't wear no Seattle Mariners hats. No Pittsburgh Steelers hats. All of those hats mean something. Tampa Bay Rays, even that hat means something. All those hats mean a particular boomty bam. So if you come to LA, just wear LA Lakers baseball cap, LA Dodgers baseball cap, and you good. Or neutral, or anything else. Don't wear any team. If you're gonna wear a team cap, make sure it's not one of those. Make sure it's only one of those two. Other than that, you're good. Don't wear a Saints cap. Hell no. Yeah. Oh yeah. Don't wear a Yankees cap. Nope. But LA, for the most part, they cleared a lot of the riffraff out of LA 10 years ago. Somebody said FLA, oh, fine. Yeah. Niggas, I don't know why people be thinking I would get mad if they don't like LA. If you don't like LA, fine. Shit. What am I supposed to say? Am I supposed to say, you should like LA and move here? No, I wish more people would say fuck LA and leave this bitch. There's too much fucking traffic here. I wish more people would say, yeah, fuck. If you say fuck LA, I agree with you. That means you'll never move here. And I'm totally fine with that. I like my sunshine with no traffic. No, I'm not working on any comedy specials. But I am going to have another live comedy show at the end of April. I haven't decided on the day yet. It's either going to be on the last Saturday of April or the second to last Saturday of April. I'll be back at the Comedy Chateau with a whole new list of comics. It's going to be funny as fuck. You know? You can't contact me about renting any of my units because I don't have any units to rent. I may get a vacancy once every 2-3 years. My tenants don't leave my buildings. Usually when I get a vacancy, somebody died. Don't want to sound morbid, but it's just true. When you take good care of your shit, people don't move. So, hell yeah, I had a good time. I had a good time in GC. I appreciate the Cash App, Mara. I had a good time in DC. I had a real good time in DC. I want to go back to DC and hit up some more of the museums. You know what my favorite part of DC was? I stayed an extra day. I wish I was on some mushrooms, but I wasn't. See, one thing about mushroom trips, you gotta listen to your spirit. If your spirit say don't take them, don't take them. I didn't, but I was high as fuck. And the night before I flew out of DC, I got on one of those, I stayed that Sunday night and it was warm. It was like 65 degrees that night. And 65 in DC feels like 73 in LA. and I got on one of those scooters, and I was staying like near the Capitol anyway, and I got on one of them scooters. Man, I drove past the Capitol. Then I did the scooter. I went past the Library of Congress. I went past the White House. I went past I went in. I smoked a blunt on the Washington, on the Lincoln Memorial steps. I first I hit like a part of my blunt at the the Washington Memorial, and then I took the scooter down to the Lincoln Memorial, and then I sat on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, and I smoked a blunt. That was my favorite part of DC, because it was warm as fuck, and I was on that scooter smoking a blunt. I rolled 2 blunts for the night, and I smoked both of them blunts on that trip. And I was like riding my scooter with the blunt in my mouth. That shit was fun. Yeah. Any recommendations? I just get in where you fit in. That's my recommendation. I hate go-go. I went to a go-go club when I was in DC, and it was fun because that's where the little after party shindig for the rally was. But I hate go-go music. That shit loud as fuck. I heard about the Dilbert cartoonist, and the Dilbert cartoonist he was irrelevant before he said that, and he's still irrelevant. It don't matter what that white boy said. Fuck him. I like when white people tell the truth about how they feel. That shit's fun to me. I like listening to that shit. Oh, a white man thinks like a white man. Ooh, surprise, surprise. Next. Yeah. Yeah, I like my races up front, man. I'm not mad at him. It is what it is. I think, but like, going to what we talking about here is just, be you, man. Like, and we it's time that we just speak up. We can't let these people be talking for us. These people that be with our skin tone that want to use us as a stool to step on. No more. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. I'll leave these entertainers alone when they leave us alone. When they leave us out of your jokes, leave us out of your music, just leave us out. Leave us out. Leave us out. And I ain't got nothing to say. It's plenty of specials that I saw. Netflix, the last good Netflix specials was Earthquakes and Dave Chappelle's. Outside of Earthquake special and Dave Chappelle special, mostly all them Netflix specials suck. But I didn't have nothing to say because they ain't fucking with black people. If you leave us out of it, you ain't fucking with me, I ain't got nothing to say. But if you start your special with you don't want to offend nobody, and you end your special with I don't want to fight with white people in front of white people, but you spend the whole time in between that shitting on black society, now I got something to say. I got something to say about that. Now, I'm not going in on go-go music because I'm a drummer. No. I don't like go-go music because I don't like go-go music. Shit, ain't got nothing to do with me being a drummer. Go-go has a lot of percussion in it. It's tone. I like music with dynamic. Go-go is loud music. I don't like loud music. I like music go-go puts the percussion out front. Go-go is just funk with the percussion out front. That's all it is. Go-go is a derivative of funk. Funk has every bit as much percussion as go-go, but the percussion in funk is underneath the sound, not on top. You can play on top of a sound, you can play with the sound, or you can play underneath the sound. Listen to Earth, Wind & Fire. Earth, Wind & Fire is full of percussion, but the percussion is underneath. Go-go is loud and it's faster funk too. It's fast. I like my music a little bit slower, and I like it with more dynamics. It's not the shit on DC's music, because when I think of DC, I think of the Blackbirds. I love that Blackbird style soul out of DC. Marvin Gaye come from DC. I like the soulful side of DC. Donald Byrd, the Blackbirds. I like DC soul. I don't like go-go. But you turn on some DC souls, I'm all with that DC soul. Let me tell y'all something. Don't get into always thinking you know why somebody is something. Sometimes people just have differences of opinions, and people have their own nuanced reasons for having differences of opinion. Like, I don't like disco. Disco was born in LA. Y'all know how much I love LA. Disco was born right here, Barry White. My dad went to high school with Barry White's sister. My father-in-law used to record with Barry White at Mirrorwood Records going back to 1967. I know a lot of people know Barry White. And I love Barry White's music. I love his Love Symphony Orchestra. I love the Love Unlimited Orchestra. But Love's Theme was the first disco song on wax ever recorded. My first, my last, my everything, that was a disco song. I don't like disco. I like some disco songs, but I don't like disco. And I don't like disco, why? Because it's ahead of the beat, it's fast, it's too fast. Too pulsive, too repetitive. 4 on the floor. We gotta get out that whole regional talk when it comes to music. George Clinton said that in his interview. And I'm gonna finish covering that George Clinton Drink Champs interview on Tuesday on the Caffeine Show. I'm finished covering that interview. Or I might cover it before then, here on YouTube. But even George Clinton said, man, you gotta get out that regional shit, man. Just love the music. Just love the music. And you're not gonna love everything. I hate go-go. I hate Zydeco. I don't like disco. I don't like house. I don't like techno. I don't like New Orleans style jazz. I prefer Kansas City jazz over New Orleans jazz. All music is regional. You know what I mean? And you're gonna vibrate with some. I'm not the biggest fan of the blues play out of Seattle, but I like it. That's called heavy metal. I like it. I like metal, but I can't listen. Metal is still our music. Punk rock is still our music. I like some punk rock, especially when Funkadelic plays punk rock. Don't like it all. I don't like bluegrass like that, brother. Disco never died. Disco just changed forms. Disco's alive and well. Beyonce just won a Grammy for her disco song. House is disco. EDM is disco. Techno is disco. Dance music is disco. World beat is disco. Most pop music is disco. Disco's alive and well. It just changed names. The four on the floor, the pulsated 4 on the floor with the accented up note, that ain't going nowhere. Niggas doing all this regional shit in hip-hop is the reason why that's a schism that opened the door for these Caribbeans and Latinos to come jump in and claim hip-hop. Because while niggas was arguing New York this versus South that, the South versus the North, and the Midwest versus the East Coast and the West Coast, while we was doing all that shit, these people who ain't even from here done got their name put into the history books as innovators of hip-hop. Ain't that some shit? New Yorkers are so focused on localizing hip-hop to New York that allowed for immigrants to be put in the official record as innovators of hip-hop. Y'all see how that regional bullshit played against us? Versus had we been the whole time saying hip hop is black music, Fat Joe wouldn't have a career. But no, Fat Joe gets to lay claim to hip hop because he was born and raised. He was raised in New York, and hip hop is a New York thing, right? See how that works? Pay attention. Pay attention. But I've been on here a long time, y'all. Y'all have a good one. And yeah, but yeah, that Chris Rock, that shit was corny, bruh. Get your readings, get all that shit. Appreciate y'all on the Cash App. Appreciate y'all for listening. And remember this, there are no perfect messengers, only perfect messages for those willing to pick up the game. I think I'm going to do some instance and ashtrays tomorrow. But stay posted. I'll let y'all know. Y'all have a good one.